Board of Commissioners, Town of Redington Shores regular meeting is Wednesday, May 11th, 2016, at 7 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mary, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Henderson?
Here.
Commissioner Capper?
Here.
Commissioner Parrish? Vice Mayor Holmes?
Here.
Mayor Adams?
Here.
Attorney Denhart?
Here. First order of business is approval of the minutes for the regular meeting April 13th, 2016.
Make a motion that we approve the regular minutes, the minutes of the regular meeting, April 13th, 2016.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yeah. Next, ratification of bills for March, April, and May 2016.
I make a motion that we ratify the bills for March, April, and May for 2016 as stated.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. The first on the next is the commission report, and I've got a couple of things I'd like to talk about tonight, and one is regarding my Vice Mayor Holmes. He attended the EMO 3 class, which is really a good deal, especially the third one. That's moving up the line of ways doing it. But as most of you know, Lee's had time to be here and get it done. So. But Vice Mayor Holmes, I would like to present this to you, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, I think a lot of you know that my background was aviation, that I flew airplanes for 39 years, and that's what I've done. So I did for a living. So I have a lot of respect for a professional of that business. And here in town, there's a guy that is a friend of mine, and he has been introduced into and inducted into the Florida Aviation Hall of Fame. Tony Jannus was one of the first inducted, and if you don't know who Tony Jannus was, he was the first pilot to fly the first airliner ever. And I think it was, I can't remember what year right offhand, but it was 1908, something along there. But he flew it, and the first flight, commercial flight, just for a little bit of interest, was from St. Petersburg, Florida to Tampa. And I would like to ask, and this has some information about Phil. Phil owned a business in Lakeland, Florida, and ferried airplanes all over the world. Over the North Atlantic, over the Pacific, and a lot of them single-engine airplanes, spending 20 and 30 hours in there with nothing sitting beside him but an extra gas tank. This has been presented to him and was presented at the Sun and Fun over in Lakeland in April. What was the date, Phil?
I don't remember.
But anyway, I was lucky enough to be over there with Phil when he received this and was inducted into the Florida Aviation Hall of Fame. So I would just like to say I really enjoy knowing Phil, and have known him for a couple of years now, I guess. And I'm going to sit this down front, so if anybody was interested in reading about him, it will be sitting here where you can read through it. And Phil, if you would step up here with me just to shake my hand.
Could be in the beacon.
Good deal.
Go back. You gotta take Mr. Picture
I'll take it. Oh, wait a minute.
This is my good side.
And that's, the end of my reports. So if, Vice Mayor Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Seminole Fire Services, there were 0 non-emergency fire responses for the period. There were 4 emergency fire responses for the period covered, with an average response time of 6 minutes and 42 seconds. Emergency medical services, there were 10 non-emergency responses for the period with an average response time of 6 minutes and 42 seconds. There were 15 emergency responses for the time period with an average response time of 5 minutes and 8 seconds. I'd like to also remind everybody here that the annual Hurricane and Flood Awareness Town Meeting is being held on May 19th at 7 p.m. We put out a bunch of flyers throughout the neighborhood and the residents, at each residence hopefully, and at the condominiums, and I hope that everybody has received the information on it. If not, I'd appreciate if you pass it to your neighbors and friends. And we've had the last few years, we've been managed to have a really good turnout. We have a good panel selected, similar panel that we've had in the past. This year we have Chief Meteorologist Mike Clay of Bay News 9 is anchoring it as far as the weather part of it is concerned. And it would be nice if we could get a good turnout again. And we're going to have, for those of you to assist you in your slimming down program, we're going to have pizza after the meeting. So, with that said, that's all I have.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Holmes. Commissioner Capper?
Okay, as far as building permits were, this last month, we had a total permits of 78, miscellaneous things that took in a total fees of $9,771.77. We had no new homes, and we have the builder that's building a lot of new homes. We wish you'd get started on some more here. We could use them. Also, what we've done, all the medium strips, we've finally got in there and redid all the irrigation for the grass in there, and it's starting to look better already. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Capper. Commissioner Henderson?
I am happy to report that some of the equipment at Constitution and Spitzer have been replaced. New swings, spring riders, and tetherball are installed and ready for the summer. My Parks and Rec Committee meeting is going to be on May 23rd at 6:30 here, and we will be deciding what we're going to do about a new playset and the shade system. I also hope to be presenting whatever we decide at the Parks Committee meeting to the Commission workshop, so get ready for that for this month. We had several bids for the website update, and I'm going through those, and we had a ton of them, so it's kind of been difficult. But that'll be another item that will be at the workshop this month, so it may be a longer workshop than you guys are normally used to. And I also wanted to let everybody know that the Gulf Beaches Library is going to be having a blood drive in the library parking lot on May 26th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. All donors will get a free t-shirt and wellness checkup, and please consider donating. It can save a life for sure. With summer heading our way, I just wanted to remind you, we have a library. Please use it. They have lots of fun summer programs planned, and it's a great way to keep the kids entertained and cool. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Henderson. On the new business, providing building services to Indian Shores, Commissioner Capper.
You want to call up Bonnie first and see
Bonnie?
you can present what you're asking for?
And Bonnie is the town manager at Indian Shores. And I'm the town administrator, sorry. And
Thank you, Mayor Adams and members of the commission. Well, Commissioner Capper and I met on April 29th and talked about the impending retirement of our current building official, Malcolm Green. He's going to be leaving us on June 29th. I had submitted a letter with some additional backup correspondence that I asked be distributed to y'all. Did you receive that
Yes.
information? So as the letter states, we're looking for building code administrator services, not just inspections and plan review services. And quite coincidentally, we had an incident that happened, the scaffolding that was beginning to fail in town. Police department had to call Malcolm out at about 7 o'clock in the evening. Malcolm had to call a contractor, get the scaffolding shored up, and then check with the contractor the following day. So as we begin our search for a full-time replacement for Malcolm, I want to make sure that the town does not go without a building official in the interim. And so one of the things that I'm exploring is a possibility of working with Reddington Shores again. So,
All right, I think the way we talk, and I'm going to bring Steve involved in this too, what we presented to you, that we would do your inspections, okay, do plan reviews, but no zoning or anything like that, and we would charge you $5,000 a month, okay? And it doesn't matter if we do 100 or we do 5, for that month. Was there anything else, Steve, on there we will not do, or?
Well, of course, the zoning involves utilities, right-of-ways.
Right.
And then we talked about the code enforcement, the town codes, which I saw something about Michelle takes care of some of that. I mean, building infractions or code violations are different, but the town codes by somebody else, and I believe Michelle takes care of the CRS too.
yes, Michelle takes care of the CRS. Bob Brotherton takes care of our site plan reviews and our NPDES requirements. But we do have a stop work order in town on one of our structures. It's been red tagged. So again, if there is, we have to take that to the next level to a special magistrate. That is something that's beyond the purview of our building permit tech, and we would need a building official for that.
You're talking, it goes to special matters, then he'd have to go to the meeting and explain to him why it's shut down and things like that.
Correct. We also have we met today with one of the businesses in town that has some life safety violations and fire code violations. Chief D'Angelo of the Pinellas Suncoast Fire Rescue District, along with his fire inspector, met with Malcolm and Michelle, and I sat in on that meeting. And, we'll see how that plays out. They've got 45 days to come into compliance, and hopefully we'll be able to work things through with them. Yet, that's another instance where if we needed to call on someone that is a building code administrator, we would need someone to step into that role.
See, our intentions are, that's what I thought yours and mine was, okay, that we were going to give you the inspections to take care of all that, do plan reviews and things like that, okay? And more or less it's just, the county does it for, they go in and they'll do an inspection for $74 or $54 an inspection, Well, we didn't want to do that, we're just going to do a flat fee for you.
Okay.
I don't know how that would work out, okay? Or do we even have the time to do that? Like, if we're going to send this inspector on all these meetings, we don't want that,
Right, and I don't anticipate that that's going to be significant at this point in time, but, like the incident that occurred the other night with, the scaffolding.
Well, I don't understand that either. I've been into construction all my life, okay? So if the scaffold was falling down, the police went out, shut the job down, period. Why would you need a building inspector?
Well, the following day, he followed up with the contractor and said,
Well, yeah, sure. Well, that's no problem there. I mean, it's a job that's ongoing, same as if he was going out to do an inspection. Yeah, he could follow up on something, but I don't think he has to go out at 3 in the morning or whatever,
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
that's my feeling on it,
Well, I guess the scaffolding was falling, and there was a concern that property would be damaged, or if the scaffolding fell, if somebody was walking by.
Well, yeah, I understand that, Bonnie, but still, I'd say most of your policemen that you have there could go out and say, hey, the scaffold's falling, it's dangerous. I don't think you need a building inspector to do that.
Let me, Chief, can you answer that question?
Yes, it was late in the evening. It was that real bad storm we had last week.
Yeah.
And it was the platform on the scaffolding, the aluminum was being blown off and landing on a roof of a house right next door. And some of them are still loose, threatening to be blown off again. My officers tried to contact the contractor, all the phone numbers they had. No one would answer the phone. You know, I think it was on a Sunday or early Monday morning. And so they knew who else to call. They called Malcolm. He came out, declared an emergency, contacted a different contractor. They came out and did the work. They told them that people who own the scaffolding are going to be paying him because they had to fix the guy's roof next door. That's all about it.
And couldn't you, law enforcement, have shut the job down or shut the red tag?
Well, it was in the evening. Nobody was there. It was late in the evening.
But you felt that the scaffold had to be repaired that night, or the next, it didn't get repaired till the next
Well,
morning?
yeah, you'd have to, the planks had to be secured that night, and they secured the ones that were loose.
Okay.
And they also did some repair on the roof. That way, because it was still raining, and they didn't want any more water getting into the guy's house.
Okay.
Like you say, that could happen maybe tomorrow, but it may not happen for another 10 years, you know, something
Right.
like that, you know. I guess all I'm saying is, if you hire us, we're gonna do the inspections for you, okay? We'll do your plan reviews for you. And that's basically it
Okay,
for that kind of money, you know.
all right.
I mean, we would, you know, you and I talked about a full service, we didn't get involved in that, you know. And I'd have to go to the commission and get permission, see if they wanted to even do that, you know.
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Just let us know, Bonnie, and where you want to move with it.
Okay.
Let me know, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you, I'll follow up.
Okay, thank you. All right, award bid for seawall repair, 174th Avenue East. Commissioner Kaplan.
Back to the seawall. Bid seawall. Wait 1 second here, Mayor. Okay, we've got a seawall that needs repaired at the end of 174th Avenue East. We put out for, we had 3 bids. Gulf Coast Marine Construction is $14,400. Seawall Services, $9,975. And Dan Sapp and Sons, $13,700. I'd like to make a motion that we approve Seawall Services for $99.75.
Have they ever done work for us in town?
Yes.
Yes.
That's that Kirby, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, yes. He does quite a bit of work in town.
All right, I'll second that.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. All right, the next is a proclamation that I'm proud to present tonight. And it's a proclamation proclaiming May 2016 as Older Americans Month.
I'm not going to second that.
I get that prize.
Yeah,
Older than
you want
what?
to- I got that done now, and we have a Finance Committee quarterly financial update. And Chris Henderson, please.
All right, thank you, sir. Mayor Adams, Vice Mayor Holmes, yes, sir? 2 minutes, all right. So as you folks noticed, 3 months ago, I provided a quick update, the first time in quite some time, a quick update as to the financial affairs of the town of Redmond Shores. And so since we just passed the 6-month mark, and we seem to have made some pretty considerable strides on the financial reporting for the town, I thought I'd give a quick update, especially since we're coming up on budget preparation time and conversations about how we spend the money and where the money comes from going into fiscal year 2017. And so, as most of you know, we've got really 3 funds, and I'll kind of walk real quickly through each one of them. I promise I'm not going to get into a whole bunch of numbers here, but just to provide a quick update on the general fund, which is where most of the activity takes place for the town of Reading Shores. And so the primary revenue source for the general fund is property tax collections. And so the good news is through the first 6 months of this year, we're at about $1.1 million in collections on property taxes, which is well ahead of where we were last year at this time. It's ahead of our plan. It's about $200,000 more than where we were last year, March of 2015. And so, again, I think it's a testament not only to the building that we've had here in the town, thanks Chad and Jeff and the rest. Yeah, but also to increase property values as well as some increase in sales tax collection. So like I said, we're ahead of our plan in that respect. It's a positive as it relates to general fund collections. The other big item that we seem to talk a lot about is building permits and plan review fees. And so for the first 6 months, we're at about $76,000 that we've collected in the town, which is down 20% from last year. And so we're going to talk a little about some of the other collections and LDUs. But last year, if you guys recall at this point, we had a pretty big start to the fiscal year 2015. And so this year is slower than that from a building standpoint for building permits and LDUs. And so that may play into some of the conversations that we have as it relates to resources that we have on the team and allocation between Town of Indian Shores. So we're still ahead of our budget for collections as it relates to building fees, but again, down year over year for the first 6 months of this fiscal year. If you aggregate all of the general fund revenues, the collections we have for the town, we're about at $1.8 million in collections, which is ahead of our plan this year, and about a 10% growth year over year. So again, a good report as it relates to overall collections in the general fund. For expenses, the primary component of this we've talked 3 months ago, primarily police, fire, and then wages. And so wages for the first 6 months of this year, about $200,000, which is about 5% below our budget. So we've continued to do a pretty good job of managing our payroll costs. Police and fire services, those are pretty much fixed at the beginning of the fiscal year, and so those ran about $328,000 through the first 6 months of the year. And then trash service, interestingly enough, was below our budget, so we spent about $110,000 in trash service expenses. And so you add all that together, what you see is that all of our general fund expenses, for the most part, are either in line or below our budget, which again is a testament to the kind of the oversight and leadership of the administrative team here for Town Hall, as well as those who kind of oversee the expenses on a daily basis. In addition to the general fund, there's also a fund called the Capital Improvement Fund. The primary revenue source for that, of course, is the 1 cent sales tax. 3 months ago, I told you guys we were slightly behind our collections on the 1 cent sales tax. The good news is that collections have increased for the 1 cent sales tax in the last 3 months, and so as a result, we're now $2,000 ahead of our $90,000 budget. LDU and transportation impact fees. This is another area. It's not in the general fund, but it's instead the capital improvement fund. Last year, we were about $50,000 more in collections, about 50% more than what we've collected the first 6 months of this year. So 2015, everybody kind of recognizes, was a banner year for the town of Reading Shores from both building permits as well as LDU and transportation impact fees. We're still ahead of our plan, but again, it's important as we go through the process of evaluating resources and our spend to recognize not only how we're doing against plan, but more importantly, how are we trending as a town. And so again, still better than our plan, but lower than last year. And then expenses, the primary expense for the capital improvement fund is the servicing of the term note that we have. And so, as many of you recall, back in 2006, we took out a $5 million note. It's about a 20-year note, 3.88% interest, and so we fund that payment. We've got about $180,000 we pay every 6 months on that, and that's paid out of the capital improvement plan. The Parks and Rec, well below our budgeted spend for the year. We still have 6 months to go, but again, another category that's below our planned spend. And then sewer funds. So we spent an awful lot of time a year ago talking about the sewer fund revenues, sewer fund expenses. There's a lot of interesting debate about that one. The good news is, so far this year, we're ahead of our plan from a collection, resident and business billing for sewer fund. So we've billed about $418,000, which is up about 8%. So that's primarily as a result of increased building in the town, and so and we're ahead of where we were last year at this point. And then our expenses were about $206,000. These are what we pay to the county for treatment charges, and so it's interestingly enough, it's lower. The $205,000 we've spent is about $50,000 less than what we spent the same point last year. And so, as many of you guys may recall, I've been working, the Financial Advisory Committee has been focused on analyzing some of the sewer flow. I know Bert Adams, Mayor Adams, and myself have had a lot of good meetings and made some good progress as it relates to identifying where we may have issues that are impacting our county treatment charges. And so that, I'm pleased to say, is going better than we expected. And so I think, in summary, just overall, between the three funds, the good news is we're about $130,000 ahead of where we were last year from a collection standpoint. Our expenses, thanks to Mary's oversight and the rest of the commission's oversight, are actually lower than we were last year at this point. And again, everything across the board, both in each one of the three funds, the expenses and revenues, all appear to be shaping up to be a good year for the town of Bradenton Shores. So with that, that's I promise to keep it under 7 minutes.
That was a two.
Yeah, thank you.
They only
Thanks,
did
yeah.
3 times over.
Thanks, Chris, appreciate it very much.
Never let him be commissioner.
Yeah, any public comments?
What do you say?
He wants the clip notes.
download
If not, the next workshop meeting is Wednesday, May 25th, 2016, at 7 p.m. Regular meeting Wednesday, June 8th, 2016, 7 p.m. With that, this meeting is adjourned.